Hello, my name is Gavin. I am a junior at St. Helens High School, and I'm pleased to be here today with Justin Doty of the Cobot team as part of our Manufacturing Month interview series. Justin is a account manager at Cobot team where he helps clients, including manufacturing companies, understand the power of collaborative robots and automated systems. Justin, thank you for joining us today.
Hello, thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
Yeah, it's nice to have you too. So we have a couple questions here for you, Justin, if you'd just like to answer them. All right. So the first question is, can you tell me about the Cobot team and what you do for your company?
No problem. Cobot Team is primarily a U.S. distributor for Rethink Robotics, and we specialize in the sales and service of Sawyer collaborative robots. We also offer service robots offered by Zorobots and Keytop visual inspection systems, 3D visual inspection systems from Keytop. We offer a handful of other automation tools, but we primarily distribute the collaborative robot Sawyer you see behind me. And I am, like you said, the account manager for the company. I'm primarily responsible for the Pacific Northwest, and I also help support sales activities nationwide. So my primary role is to identify new customers and help them get their cobots up and running, and then I stay with that account and make sure that they're happy and there's no issues, and make sure that their robots are all doing what they should be doing. Kind of it in a nutshell.
That's really interesting. So we have another question. How does this company help the Portland area and other businesses?
Good question. Portland, like any other city, right now is experiencing some significant labor challenges. Most of the labor force right now has a choice in what they want to do, what kind of jobs they want to take, and what they want to be doing within those jobs. We help Portland businesses and businesses all over the country automate the tasks that no one wants to do. Sometimes in automation, they're referred as the dull, dirty, dangerous tasks, where robots are really good at repetitive motions. We go in and help businesses lower their workers' comp rates by preventing injuries through repetitive motion. A lot of pick and place tasks in the manufacturing industries exist still, which is surprising to me every time I walk into a big company or a small company, and there's still these really repetitive, sort of mindless tasks that employees just don't want to do. So that's kind of how we help companies keep their competitive edge, to keep them, production running, and we allow those employees to upskill and do more meaningful work within their companies.
Wow, I don't think a lot of people will. I think that'll surprise a lot of people. What is the most interesting task you've seen a cobot perform in a manufacturing environment?
Yeah, so we've done a lot of fun ones. I think two really stand out to me. One was in a medical device manufacturing facility right here in Portland. We were able to interface one of our Sawyer robots with three different machines. And typically, collaborative robots interface really well with one machine or possibly two machines. But in this case, we were able to design the workspace so that Sawyer was interfacing with two measurement machines. And then the third one was a laser marking machine, which is really cool because if the part passed the inspection for the measurement machines, it then went to the laser marking machine to get the seal of approval, saying that it had been validated, the part did pass inspection, and then it was ready to go out to market. That one completely increased the quality. I don't have numbers in front of me, but quality control, was a big factor in this one. And then also the employees. There were employees doing this manual pick and place procedure, interfacing with these machines, and it was just so boring for them. And they were so psyched when we got Sawyer doing it. They were high-fiving me and like giving me hugs. They like named Sawyer and put a wig on it and had the name, just had a lot of fun with the application because they knew that they wouldn't have to do that boring job anymore. All of those employees, there were 8 of them. They ran 2 or 3 shifts, sometimes 3 shifts, always 2 shifts. All of those employees got repurposed into higher higher level position within the company. So they're very, very happy with the robot. The other application that was really fun was at the onset of COVID-19, we helped a major health organization interface a Sawyer robot inside a COVID-19 patient room. And we were able to help train a team of doctors and ICU nurses on how to program Sawyer to do the tasks that they wanted it to do. And we did all that remotely from right here in Portland because no one was going anywhere at the beginning of this COVID pandemic. So that one was a lot of fun. That team did a great job, and it was a little bit out of the box for us, but it was very, very successful.
Yeah, it'd be awesome if everyone could have a robot that did stuff like that for them. That's amazing. What is the most important aspect of your job?
So there's a couple things. I mean, the robot itself it can be simply programmed and things like that, but there are some technical things that you have to get into. So sometimes relaying that information in a way that makes sense to the customer, it can be a little bit challenging working with various departments. I'll work with the engineering departments a lot, continuous improvement people. Then sometimes I'll work with the finance department, and then other times I'll work with the labor force a lot. And so being able to articulate how the robot's going to help them, sometimes that could be a bit of a challenge. And then the other thing is, since this is an emerging technology, it hasn't been around that long, getting the customer to believe that this product, this robot behind me, can really help them very quickly, and their ROI can be very robust and very swift. Sometimes they're like, nah, it's too good to be true. So we sometimes offer a trial period and things like that to really prove out what we're saying is true. So those two things, I think, probably the most challenging aspects. The rest of it is a lot of fun and not very difficult.
Yeah, that would feel awesome helping lots of companies with, what do you find most rewarding about your specific job?
I'd say the first most valuable skill would probably be listen to what the customer wants. These robots are tools, and you got to have the right tool for the job. A lot of automation folks out there, want to kind of think that their product is going to work every single time, and that's just not the case. So the first skill you might want to have is really good critical thinking skills and listening skills. If the customer says the cycle time needs to be 6 seconds, then that's what it needs to be. You got to beat it. Presenting a solution that doesn't match what the customer has already verbally requested, that's not gonna do very well for sales. And then the second one is the ability to maybe be creative and look at problems in a different light, and find different and unique and creative solutions. It's sometimes easy to get in a rut and just think the same way over and over and over. But we try really, really hard to approach every single customer with that new and fresh slate, and be able to go in and creatively help them solve their problem.
Yeah, it would help. I agree. What advice do you have for high school students who want to get into the field of robotics? Is the last question.
I'd say do your homework. It starts with some training and schooling and things. Find maybe find a mentorship, find a mentor. Internships are great to kind of get your feet wet and kind of know what they're getting into. And then a big part of this, and this probably goes for all labor force coming up, including my kids, is stick with it. Don't give up. If it's hard, work harder. And like I said, be creative, listen to the customer, understand the problem before offering a solution. And then, for high school kids, get that internship, get some experience under your belt, and go from there.
Well, Justin, that's all the questions we have for today. So thank you for speaking with us today as part of the Manufacturing Month series. It has been great to learn more about your work in robotics and in automation, as well as the related career opportunities in the manufacturing industry. If you at home are interested in learning more about the Cobot team, check out their website at www.cobotteam.com. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Justin. Have a great manufacturing month.